question 5, I believe this is. Diego squared a number and got 4. Andre squared a different number and got 4. What were the numbers that Diego and Andre squared? So remember, you're talking about Diego took 2 of the same number. When you square a number, you're taking the same number times itself. So probably the most obvious one would be 2. If I take 2 squared, then I get 4. Well, what number could Andre have squared then to also get positive 4? And Andre could have multiplied, or could have squared negative 2. And so if we check our work here, you can see that those are 2 correct answers. So here's the tricky part, because Jada and Elena did something that we've always said you can't do. So Jada squared a number and got negative 4. Elena squared a different number and got negative 4. What were the numbers that Jada and Elena squared? So if I square a number, we've always talked before about how we have to have a positive result. But we now have this imaginary number I that allows us to get these negative values. So if I were to square I, that's the same thing as negative 1. So if I were to square something and get a negative number, it means that it has to be an imaginary number. And so I can think about taking the square root of negative 4. Well, remember, the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of a negative number is I. So Jada could have done 2I. Well, then what would Elena have squared? Well, if we think about it, think about how we did this one over here. Well, if you square 2 and you get 4 and you square negative 2 and you get positive 4, what number would we also have to square here to get also a negative 4? So we could square a negative 2i.